Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Jen, and today we're going to make a chickpea salad. It was 100 degrees today where I live here in Western Kentucky. I am ate up with mosquito bites, and my air conditioner threatened to break down at the thought of turning on my stove. So I decided we're going to keep it simple tonight and make this really good cold salad for supper. Now, the original recipe for this salad comes from Natasha's kitchen, and I will leave a link to her recipe in the description box below. But you can whip this up in about 10 minutes and you don't have to cook anything, which is great. So, you're going to start off with about a half of a red onion sliced fairly thin, and then you're going to need a quarter cup of chopped cilantro. Now, obviously, if you don't like onion or cilantro, you can substitute that. If you don't like cilantro, try using parsley instead. The recipe calls for 1 clove of minced garlic, but I really like garlic, so I'm going to add 2. Also, the original recipe says to put the garlic in the salad dressing, but I just went ahead and added this to everything else. Then I have a can of chickpeas here that I have drained and rinsed. I'm going to add that right on in there with the onions and the cilantro. And I'm going to chop up a English cucumber. English cucumbers are nice because they don't have a ton of seeds and the skin of them is pretty delicate, so you don't have to worry about peeling your cucumbers. So I just sliced it long way, and then I'm going to cut it into little half moons. And once I get that all chopped up, that's going right into the bowl too. Now, I think this recipe is a really good recipe for folks that like to garden. Um, it is very appropriate, the cucumbers, the tomatoes, things like that you would have, about this time of year, probably even the onions, coming out of your garden. So this would be a great way to use up some of that extra produce that you may or may not have occupying space on your kitchen counters. Now I'm going to move on to my cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to slice them in half. Now, some of these were kind of large. These are store-bought cherry tomatoes. My cherry tomatoes, they're putting on tomatoes, but they are not ripe yet. Today I picked my first 3 that were just a little shy of ripe because I couldn't stand the idea of my first 3 cherry tomatoes going to the birds or the bugs. So I went ahead and picked up some really yummy little grape tomatoes from the grocery store. So I'm just going to split them in half or quarter them and add them to the bowl. Now I do have some avocados that are going in, but I want to add that last. So we're going to work on our dressing now. And I'm going to use just a little mason jar to mix my salad dressing. So I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons, give or take, of some really good olive oil. If you don't like olive oil, you can use whatever kind of oil you prefer. This is your salad. I am not eating it, so just cook with what you enjoy. Now, to this olive oil, I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. If you don't have any fresh lemons, I'm sure you could use the green stuff that comes out of a bottle. You just want to make sure that you taste your dressing to see if you need to add anything to make up for the acidity of the bottled lemon juice. To my dressing, I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of salt and also about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can adjust salt and pepper to your tastes. Um, I don't add a lot of salt because I'm on salt restriction, so just taste your dressing and see if it needs to have more salt or not. And because I like things spicy, I added some red pepper flake. This is not part of the original recipe, but I really think it added something nice to the salad. So I'm just going to pop a lid on here and give it a really good shake until everything is kind of emulsified together and move on to my avocados. Now, I just bought these avocados, and you will see here that as I cut this and crack it open, it is gross. I was like so disappointed. So I was like, okay, let's try avocado number 2. Cut into it and go to pull it apart, and it is also really gross. So thankfully, I had 2 more avocados sitting on my counter that maybe were a little more firm than these, but I was really crossing my fingers that they were going to be in better shape or this salad was going to be in trouble. So as I cut into this and I opened it up, I was very pleased enough to do a happy dance, that my avocados were in really good shape. So all I'm going to do is pull the seeds out of these. And then I'm going to very carefully run my knife down them and cut them into little cubes. Now, if you don't trust yourself not to cut through the avocado skin, you absolutely can use a spoon to remove the whole piece of avocado from the skin and then just slice it on your cutting board. For me, it's just easier. I'm always very careful. This is a very big knife. It is a very sharp knife, but I don't press hard. I just press lightly until I can barely feel the knife touching the back of the avocado skin. And then it is as simple as using a spoon to scrape out all of that wonderful avocado flesh. Now, I know that I like to be the one that says all the time, if you don't like it or if you don't have it, substitute it for something else. But I really think the avocado adds just another level to the salad. It makes kind of creamy. I guess if you don't have avocado, maybe use a little bit of tahini to kind of give that fatty, nutty, creamy texture and flavor to your salad. Now, the last thing I'm going to add to this is about 4 ounces of feta cheese. Obviously, if you don't enjoy feta, you can substitute it with whatever you do like. And then I'm going to pour my dressing over the top and give this a really good mix. Now, I suggest that you let this sit in the refrigerator for a little while. It not only helps the salad absorb the flavors from the dressing, but it's so much better when it is super cold right out of the fridge. Make sure you stir it up really well, and I know that doesn't seem like that was a lot of dressing, but to be perfectly honest with you, it was just the right amount, I think. After sitting in the fridge for a little while, the cucumbers and the tomatoes let loose of a little bit of liquid, and this salad was definitely not dry in any way, shape, or form. Now, for most people, just having a salad for dinner or for lunch is not going to be enough for them. I get that. I am a salad person. I enjoy salads. I like all different kinds of salads. And if we hadn't been in the middle of a heat wave today, I absolutely would have paired this with a salmon fillet done in maybe my air fryer with some teriyaki glaze on top, or even just a simple lemon marinade. It would have been really well with this salad. So definitely pair this with some kind of lean protein if you're trying to keep it a little healthier. And if you're not, hey, this would be great with a steak too. So I hope that you give this a try. And if you do, definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought of this chickpea salad. And until next time, friends, happy cooking.